everybody. I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode, I should have checked this before we started.
456.
Episode 60.
That was close.
Not even remotely.
If you take 400 off of it. But.
Episode 60, part 4 of the O's. The final part of the O's. But before we get started, if you like this type of content, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and of course hitting that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
And you can follow us on social media by following the link below.
All right.
So we got what, 8 games?
8 games, yes.
I don't think we really hated any of these games. I think one was going.
Yes.
One
no,
had,
I don't think we had.
One had a rules teach that was kind of. It was kind of hard to understand, but once you played the game's very simple to play.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You'll know which one.
Okay.
So we're going to start it off with Outrun the Bear. This was not it.
No. We actually played a friend's copy. He had the nice deluxe copy Kickstarter version.
We have the designer scribble.
We do have the designer scribble on it.
Just took a marker to the box.
I kind of wish he'd used a black marker, not a silver one, so you could at least see it. But it's there. Anyway, we picked this up at Gen Con last year because it just sounded unique. The concept with this one is that you are trying to outrun the bear from your campground all the way to your car using these series of trails and boards that go together. Ultimately, like I said, trying to get from, I know one of these is the campground. Here we go. This is the campground.
And this is the car.
And this is the car. So, and of course you couldn't do just like this and make it nice and easy. That would not be much of a game.
No.
So you're trying to move along the different paths to get up there, and each of the different paths are different terrains, and they each do something a little differently. They slow you down, or they make you move backwards, or in the river you actually get moved forward.
Yeah, and you can't run through the thickets.
You can't run through the thickets, so they slow you down. Meanwhile, this lovely bear is sitting at the end of the trail, and little by little, he's moving forward. And you never know quite how much he's going to move forward. It's actually all depicted by your play.
Yeah.
As to how far he moves, because his movement comes straight out of the discard pile each round. Little by little, you are playing cards to do an action. And the actions have these different paw prints on them. And these paw prints directly affect Mr. Bear's movement on his turn. You know, if the 3 people playing played these 3 cards and he had to pull the bear had to pull 3 cards from the discard pile, well, he's only going to move 1 space on us.
Plus anything that's already on the board.
Well, no, that tells us how many cards we have to pull.
Is it?
Yeah, this is how many cards we have to pull.
I thought that was one of the paw prints you added. Okay.
Nope, those are how many cards we pull. And then in this case, he'd only move 1. But if somebody had gotten greedy and played this one, and we have these 3 played, now he's moving 3 on us. We pull cards based on the number of paw prints behind the lead runner, I believe it was. So if somebody's way out in the lead, that's more cards that are being drawn. And if there aren't enough cards in the discard pile, you draw from the draw pile. Okay, so I got eaten in the last game. The bear caught me. Both of the guys managed to escape. They left me behind. Chivalry is dead.
You just have to outrun the slowest person.
That's right. You don't have to outrun the bear. You just got to outrun the slowest person. It's a fun game. Is it something we're going to pull out when we feel like playing something heavy? Heck no. This is a great little party game. It plays, I want to say 6 players, so it's actually got a decently large player count, and it's not on the box.
It plays 2 to 6.
So I think it definitely plays better at more because you have more people to bounce off of.
More people to sacrifice to the bear.
Sacrifice to the bear, yeah, that too. Cute little game. We've played this on one of our lives. I want to say it was the 12 back in August. If you're curious about it, check out that playthrough. I couldn't tell you where it is, but I know I time-stamped it in the video, so it's easy enough to find. So, but yeah, that is Outrun the Bear, and he's going to stick around because, you know, We can't seem to outrun him.
All right. So the next game we got to play was Ostia. Not that Ostia.
Not that Ostia.
This is an old Mayfair game. Ostia, the harbor of Rome. This is the game I was talking about. The rules just wasn't making sense.
The rules were very unclear.
Yeah, but we did find some examples in the back of the book, not as you're teaching it to show examples. All the examples were in the back of the book, and we finally understood it, and it's a very simple...
It is a very simple game.
Bidding, drafting type of game.
It's
auction.
It's an auction, yes, thank you. It's an auction bidding mechanism.
Yeah.
There's the convoluted rules and a player aid we must have made years ago.
That is for the... This is a
This is the
3 to
two-player
5 player
variant,
game,
you're right.
and we found a 2-player variant for it.
Yeah, that's right. We did get to play 3-player this time. We wanted to make sure we gave it a fair shake at 3 players before we
got a
decided
deal to help
anything.
us play it, and he's the one that actually read the rules and figured it out.
Right. All right, so here's your player board. This plays 5, so there's 5 of these, and that's it. No main board. The idea with this one is that you are collecting cards through an auction phase. Everybody is dealt out 5
cards.
resource cards. And of course I grabbed 6.
All the
There you
same.
go. You're dealt
Almost
You're dealt 5 resource cards, and each round there is a market card up that tells you which cards are more valuable that round.
In the Senate.
If you go to give them to the Senate, if you donate them to the Senate, this dictates your
points for the game.
yeah, basically your point values that the Senate's willing to give you. So each round, you're choosing one to keep and you're putting it down inside your little storehouse. And there are little wooden storehouses that dictate
how many you can have
how many you can hold, how many you can save between rounds. So the remaining 4 you have, you are splitting into 2 sets and you're auctioning them off. The bid starts at the numbers on the card. So this bid would start at 13, this one would start at 12. One by one, everybody gets one chance to bid, and they can bid any number. You don't have to choose the highest bidder. Half the money that you're going to make off of it goes straight to the bank for shipping. So if I actually rounded up goes to the bank. Yes, you get the amount rounded down. So if I actually get 13 for this one, which would be the lowest bid, I'm only going to actually get 6. The bank gets 7, and then the cards go to whoever paid the 13. If people bid it up, somebody else bids 16 or 20 or whatever, they really wanted this piece of lumber, I guess that is.
And a bag of rocks.
And a bag of rocks, yeah, something, I don't know. Then he would get these cards to stick into his storehouse and save them till the Senate phase. If nobody bids on them, then I'm stuck having to buy them. I get to buy them at half price, and that money goes, because basically I'm paying the shipping for them. I'm not paying myself, I'm paying the shipping. So I pay the half price to the bank, and then the cards are mine, they go into my storage. After that phase is over, and you could end up with anywhere from just your one card if you didn't win any bids, all the way up to, I mean, a lot if you have enough money to win that many bids. So you're going to take all of your cards and you're going to decide which ones you're going to donate to the Senate and which ones you're selling off to get more money. And the selling, there's a chart down here for the forum that dictates how many cards are out, how much supply is out there versus the demand. So if there's a lot of supply, so say between me and all of my fellow players, there were 5 of these, whatever those are, there were 5 of the blue cards out here, then each of us is only going to get, what is that, $6 per card that we wanted to sell. So if I had 2 of those 5, I'm going to get $12 off of that. But if I was the only blue card out there, I'm going to get, what is it, $15 for it. Again, it's all supply and demand. Meanwhile, that's over here. Meanwhile, in the Senate, you're looking at the amount, you're looking at the cards you donated, and you're looking at this card to see how much each of those cards is worth. So in this case, my wood would be worth $3 each, or 3 points each, and this
The grain.
The grain or whatever it is worth 4. So I'd have 10 points here. If I happen to have the highest number of points, I would get 3 victory points out of it. If I have the second highest, I get 2. And if I have the third, I get 1. If I am below everybody else, I don't get anything. If, depending on the number of players. Meanwhile, you can only donate a maximum of 3 types of goods. If you donate a 4th good, in this case I only have 3, but say I got to find something besides a blue one. There we go. Say I had ivory out here in addition to these blue ones. Then we would look at this card, determine which one is the most expensive, and that one leaves the game. So in this case, I would lose my yellow card, I get no effect from it, and then I would just have to rely on the rest of these. So you never want to put down more than 3, right? Right?
Yeah.
Somebody made that mistake the very first round.
I was thinking it was only in the form.
Oh, no. It's
not both.
Yeah. Okay, so the game goes on for 5 rounds, and you're gaining these. I mean, honestly, I love these chips. They're one of the best things about the game. Big wooden chips. It comes with paper money. We have coins.
Never used the paper money.
I don't know where these came from.
Yeah, I don't either.
I have no idea where these came from, but they're not in the book as to having come from the game, so I have no clue. It was okay. I could see what it was trying to do. We are not auction bid. There's just not a mechanism either one of us enjoys.
Well, they had a thing where part of the wrap-up of the round was to pay back your loans.
Yes.
I never seen a reason
We never
to
had,
ever take a
well,
loan.
The only reason would be is if you got stuck with a set of cards you couldn't sell. Nobody bid on them and you got stuck buying them and you didn't have enough money to buy them because maybe you had overextended yourself earlier in the round.
Yeah, I can
then
see that
you would
maybe
have to
with
take
more
a
than
loan.
3 people. We've only played this at 2 and 3, so.
Nobody ever even came close.
No.
There was one point where Adil said that he was going to have to pass on bidding on anything because he had to make sure he kept enough money to cover the cards he still had, just in case nobody bid on them.
Right.
Granted, I ended up buying them.
And I mean, you've got to buy your storehouses, and like
Yeah.
within 2 rounds, we all had all.
Four
Well, I know in 2 rounds, I had all 4 storehouses.
I had them in 3. So, and that's only because I purposely spread them out. It's such an old game. I don't even think that's a bad thing.
2006?
Being an old game is not a bad thing.
2005. No, it's not.
But we've had it since 2015, I think is what I looked at.
Yeah, it was the year we worked with Mayfair.
It's the second time we've played it in 9 years, and we never would have pulled this off the shelf had it not been for the O's. We're going to let this one go. I don't see it ever coming off the shelf in the other room, and it certainly never comes off our shelf.
The artwork is just so plain.
Yeah, I don't think it holds up.
No.
I think there are games that do this much, much better.
There's plenty of games that do it a lot better.
Yeah, with the simple mechanisms that are in here, the rules are too convoluted. Anyway, we've gone on long enough. Ostia,
Long enough, more than it needed to be.
the Harbor of Rome is going to leave the collection.
Okay, so this next game we played with our son and daughter-in-law, and we all enjoyed it.
I was excited about playing this one. I don't know why.
This is Outfoxed with the box upside the wrong
whatever.
way. This is for ages 5 and up.
Yes.
The youngest one at the table was 32.
Yeah. So, oh my, what a mess. Okay. So here is your board. The idea with this one is that one of the wily foxes in town has stolen something or is going to steal something. And you have to figure out who that person is. So there is a fox figure representing the thief starting up here in the corner, and he moves 3 times every time you are not successful with your rolls. We'll leave it at that. I'll come back to explain that. And then each person has their little player piece that starts right here in the center of the park, and then they get to move based on, again, a die roll.
Their little detective
Their
hats.
little detective hats. So each round, well, first of all, you start the game with all of your suspect cards face down around the board. And then one thief card. You pick one of your thief cards and you stuff it into this little thing, which we had some trouble with. So, and of course I'm going to know exactly who it is, but the idea is you don't want to see who it is. So you got to get them down there all the way. There we go. So you stuff your thief card into here, and then
you get a clue.
That starts the game. Well, hold on. So each round, each player is rolling the dice. The idea is that before you start rolling your dice, you have to decide whether you're going to reveal or whether you're going to look for clues. Those are your two options. And then you roll your dice. You have 3 chances to roll all of the dice faces that match the same symbol. Mm-hmm. Either all eyeballs if you're going to reveal. If you succeed, then you flip over 2 of your suspect cards so that you can now see who's on the other side. If you're going to look for clues, then you need all of your dice to show paw prints, whether it be the single or the double. All the dice have to show paw prints. And then you take your little mover and you move along the board that many paw prints until you get to one of the big clue spaces. And then you can look for clues. At that point, you take one of the clue tokens off the top of the stack, you turn it over and you see what it is. Now in this case, it tells me, okay, I'm going to find out if my thief is wearing a cape. And then I pull this little token out and I'm looking, and you are not going to be able to see this, but if it shows a green, then he's not wearing a cape. If it shows red, then he is. In this case, I know you can't see this, it shows a green. So he's not wearing a cape.
Which everybody we've seen said that's kind of weird.
That's totally backwards, but that's okay. So he's not wearing a cape, we know that. Well, if I'd already had maybe these 4 suspects flipped over, then I know I could immediately eliminate Alice because Alice is wearing a cape. So
maybe that's
Alice
why it's
is out of
green.
the game.
Means the people wearing capes are good to go.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. But they're not wearing, so she's not wearing a cape. That suspect card is just flipped out of the game. She's gone. She has been set free. Mm-hmm. These guys are still suspects though. Oh, look, there he is. There's Charles.
Oh, that's who it is?
That's who it was. Normally you wouldn't know that. If for some reason you don't roll at all, your 3 chances are up and you've rolled non-matching symbols, that's when the wily fox moves 3 spaces.
Is he really the wily fox?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know. Anyway, so the game ends in one of 2 ways. Either you have eliminated everybody and you're ready to make a guess as to who is the thief, or the thief gets down here to the end, in which case he wins, and the players all lose the game. Very, very interesting. I thought it was a lot of fun for a game geared toward 5-year-olds. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I see. It says, if all 3 dice do not match the action that you chose by your 3rd roll, the thief moves closer. So it's representing the thief.
Yeah.
He's trying to get away.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I said that earlier. That was representing the thief.
Wasn't listening, I guess.
Apparently not. Anyhow, very interesting game. A lot of deduction. I love the deduction and the clue seeking, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. And I love this little mechanism, although I felt like we were starting to chew up cards in it. But
yeah, it's very hard to get it in there.
yeah, we were having some trouble with it. But nonetheless, very good game. We're definitely going to hold on to this one. I think it is an excellent game for that age group, and I think it teaches a lot of valuable skills. So, but that is Outfoxed, a cooperative whodunit game. Good one. Good one for kids. So this one will stick around in the kids' collection.
The next one we played with Justin and Jackie as well. Or no?
No, we played that on our own.
We played this one on our own.
We laughed. I love push your luck games. I really do. I apparently suck at them,
I was like,
though.
I don't remember. Then I was looking, I was like, okay, now I remember.
Yep. All right, so this is a push your luck game, essentially.
Yes, it is.
It really is. Involves a little bit of math, but nonetheless, All right, so the idea with this one is that each player does this individually. You have 5 cards laid out in front of you with...
You got all 7s.
I know. That's not going to be good. You have a sand timer that you cannot see. That is the trick to the game. And then there are 3 dice. On your turn, you are going to roll your dice, and very quickly, one of your opponents watches the sand timer. You roll the dice, and you add them up. You cannot split them. So in this case, I honestly could do nothing. So you just keep going.
No, you could use one of the dice. You can't split the die.
Yes, but I had a 6 and 2 2s.
Oh, I thought I seen a 1. Okay.
Nope. I had a 6 and 2 2s. This time I have a 5 and 2 1s. So I could take one of these 7s. Or I could take this 1. Either one. I could add up, and if there was a 6, I could take a 6 and a 1, or a 7, or 2 1s, or however I wanted to do it. As many cards as I can. As many cards as I can take, I can take. It's going to kind of hamper my examples here, but that's okay. So I would just keep going until I decide, okay, 30 seconds is probably up. And then I would say, stop. I'm stopping. Unless one of my opponents first says, time's up. If I stop, any cards and mind you, you keep refilling these as you're taking them. So you always have 5 cards to choose from. If I stop before my opponent says time's up, I get to bank these cards, and they now become a victory point. In this case, 3 victory points at the end of the game. If, however, my opponent tells me time's up before I yell stop, then I lose these cards. They go straight to the discard pile, and I lose those points. The score was 48-24, and I am shocked I got that many. Because I suck.
It should have been higher, but I kept fumbling.
Yeah, so it was fun. I actually really enjoyed this one. Mm-hmm. I was really shocked at how much I enjoyed this one. So we'll pick up the other die in a little bit, but it's going to stick around. We enjoyed it enough that it's just a fun dice chucking game. So low stress and
just
lots of laughs.
Know what time it is.
You gotta be able to count to 30 in your head. Anyway, Out of Sight, we are gonna hold on to this one. Lots of fun. All right.
So this one we played with Justin and Jackie.
Yes, that one we played with Justin and
Jackie.
Jackie.
Outfoxed and this one.
Yes. Okay, so this one is Outburst. This is a very classic game. It has been around for a very long time. We've actually played this several times in party situations. This last time was just with Justin and Jackie. We each teamed up as couples.
I don't remember ever playing this game.
We did. I do remember playing it in the past with Joe and Tony and Kat and that whole group of people. We've done it a couple times now. So the way this one runs, again, timer. Everybody has voting chips that you can pass up to 3 times per team. Then there are bonus dice. The bonus dice, basically, you roll both dice. If the white one matches the number that you got, a number you got correct on here, then you get the points that are on the blue dice in addition to the points you earned during the round. So how this plays out, though, is that you get a card. The number or the answers on the card are all hidden, basically, with the red light
like the
stuff.
old decoder cards that we used to have when kids.
And then oh good Lord, I would have never gotten that one. That would have been an immediate
Brad
pass.
Pitt co-stars.
Brad Pitt co-stars. The other one is Outstanding Cookie Brands. Brands, specifically, it says. And so you pick a card, you read off one side or the other. We always just grab the first side we saw. We didn't pick. Books most people have at home. Oh, okay, this should be interesting. You slide it into the decoder. Once they've agreed to take it. Oh no, I'm not
You're
doing
answering this one.
Oh no, I'm not.
So give me a couple.
Encyclopedias.
Hey, look at that.
Hey,
you got
it's
one right.
right.
Off the bat.
Wow, we don't have encyclopedias. Dictionaries.
But you only got the amount of the time.
Yes, you've only got up till the timer runs out. Dictionary, a thesaurus.
You got 2.
Dr. Seuss books. Children's books. I don't even know anymore. But anyway, you get the idea. So everybody on the team is just kind of spouting answers. Why?
It's a phone book.
Oh.
A lot of people don't even know what phone books are anymore.
I don't think we've even gotten one recently.
And a checkbook.
We have a checkbook.
Or an atlas.
We have an atlas, too.
Yes, I know we do. A lot of people don't.
We have
an address book.
I probably still have one somewhere.
A medical reference.
No.
A diary, a phone book, a cookbook, a dictionary, a Bible, an address book, a checkbook, and an atlas.
See, so those are not ones I would have even thought of, but that's the idea of the game. So as people are spouting it off, you are checking off, what was the other side? Classic amusement park rides. Oh, we actually had that one. That's one of the ones we did. So you are checking off, somebody on the team is checking off the answers as they get them right. You're just sliding the little levers over. And then when the timer runs out, you say, okay, you got 5 right. You roll the dice. If it rolls a 5, well, you got question 5 right. You now get bonus points equal to the blue 6-sider. It was a lot of fun. And I remember having fun with this every time we've played it. It's a classic game.
Well, we learned, too, that if a hard one comes out, don't laugh because they're going to pass it. And now you have to answer the questions on the card that they pass.
Yes.
And you don't get a pass at it back.
Nope. So if you pass, you are giving that question to the next player, to the next group, and they can't pass it. Exactly. Now, mind you, they've had time to think about their answers, but nonetheless, they have to answer that one. So, yeah, the Brad Pitt Code Stars, that would have been passed for sure, because I couldn't. Angelina Jolie, that's about the only one I could have told you. Anyway, Outburst, classic party game. We are going to hold on to it.
Okay, so next, this is another one we played with Justin and Jackie.
We did a couple weeks ago.
This is Orleans.
Orleans is a bag builder. This one sits in our collection. It's a really good bag builder.
Yes.
This one is often compared to Altiplano. It's the same basic concept. The only difference between the two, other than theme, of course, is that this one, you're throwing everything back in the bag immediately, so those some chips may never come out.
They go in that little wagon.
No, that's Altiplano.
Oh.
Altiplano has a discard pile similar to...
You said Altiplano and it was in my head.
Yes.
I forgot what game we were doing.
Oh.
We did that one a long time ago.
Yes. Altiplano has a discard wagon similar to the boat in Life of the Amazonia. This one does not have that mechanism. When you take the chips off, you throw them right back into the bag, so you may never see some chips. Whereas in the discarded ones, you do. All right, so here's your main board, and it is a fairly good size board. Actually, it's not all that big now that I think about it. It's just really thick.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you have 2 parts to the board. You have the map that throughout the game you could be traveling along if you opt to do so, if you spend the chips or the people to do so.
Guilds.
And then you also have this area over here, which is where you are gaining your
chips.
Your chips from.
Your tokens, yeah.
Right, you're gaining your tokens from. So here is the player board. Oh, I guess that was one I was thinking. I was thinking I just grabbed this one, but anyway.
That's the guild board,
all right.
I believe.
So this is your player board. Throughout the game, you can only pull so many chips out of your bag. And you get to pull the same number every round, no matter how many you've saved over from the time before. But the only difference is the max you can ever hold is 8 down here. Now, you may put some up into your work areas and just kind of hold them so that you have more room down here. That's a viable strategy.
But once you
don't
place
have
them,
to.
you can't take them off.
Yes, you cannot pull them back. So each one of these spots gets you something different. Like, down here you can get another farm worker, but it costs you 2 other people, and it's
what are these? Cost you, but
well, it doesn't
you're
cost
not going to get rid of it.
You have to assign those 2 people to get you a farm worker.
And when you do, you get a resource.
You get a resource with it. You move up on the track, you get a resource, and you gain the worker. You can gain a knight, but again, it's going to cost you a farmer and a boater and I do not remember what some of these are called. That is the...
don't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, regardless, there's a number of different kinds of workers. You are assigning workers out to get different workers.
Yep.
Simple as that. There are ones that let you move along in the city or to build guild houses out in the various cities. There can only ever be one guild house per city.
Mm-hmm.
As you're traveling, you're picking up resources. Those resources are necessary during various aspects of the game where you have to pay resources to, oh gosh, you have bad crops or there's taxes.
The plague, yeah.
The rounds are counted out by event tiles, essentially. And those event tiles, one of them is like a bad crop or a bad season where you lose. There's also, well, there's a plague that you lose people. You literally have to pull somebody out of your bag, and if it's not one of your starters, you lose that person. Yeah. Then there's taxes where you have to pay so much money based on how many resources you've collected. All different things.
Trading day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a good bag builder.
Yes.
We don't get it out as often as we probably should. And I know they've got a ton of expansions. We've got, I think, one expansion in here.
I think we actually have 2 of them.
Do we?
And one of them we don't play because it's like very, very
We found out after the fact it was cutthroat, and we just don't do cutthroat very often. Yeah.
Intrigue.
Yeah. So, but great game. Lots going on in it. I love bag builders anyway. But this one is going to stick around. We do both very much enjoy it, and it is one of our son and daughter-in-law's favorite games. So.
And we found it for him.
Yes. So it does see a lot of play. I could have told you it was upside down.
It's the best. It's the best bag builder we have.
No, but okay. We have an argument here because I like Life of the Amazonia better. But anyway, that is Orleans. Great game. We are going to hold on to it. All right.
Next, we get a really old game.
Yes,
in a fairly new box.
Game.
This is Othello.
Othello.
And Othello Travel.
Yes. This one sits in the travel.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
This one sits in the travel collection. This one sits in our collection. And this is just a little bitty travel version of the game that we took to Italy with us. I bought it at Goodwill.
Greece.
Was it Greece?
Yes.
It was Greece. We took to Greece with us years ago. Did I turn it right side up? Please
Probably
tell me
not.
I did.
But you might
Anyway,
have.
Regardless, it's not magnetic. Well, the case is magnetic,
But it has a
but the
raised
pieces
grid.
lock in, so that's kind of nice. So we played this on the bus in Greece on one of the long bus days.
Yep.
So this stays in our collection for that purpose. But Othello, this is the one that sits in the travel collection, one of the more classic versions of it. The idea with Othello is that you are placing out a piece. One person's black, one person's white. You are placing out pieces, and you start out at the beginning of the game like so. And then each turn, you have to put out a piece on your color side to lock in and flip the other player.
Yes, you have to be able to trap somebody.
So you have to be able to trap somebody. So I can't do this. That is not a valid move. But I could do that, in which case this piece flips over to black. Well, then white's going to come along and do this and flip this back to white. And then black's going to come along and do that and flip this back to black. This centerpiece is just going to keep moving. So little by little, you're going to keep doing this. So maybe now I'm going to do this because look, I can flip this one and this one. Tides have turned. So you keep...
You're doing so good this time.
I came very close. Thank you very much. Anyway, this keeps going until one person is out of moves, or in which case they pass, or you run out of, you fill the board. There are exactly enough pieces to fill the board. I really enjoyed this game. I mean, we always knew we were going to keep it anyway because it is a classic game. But I really enjoyed this play of it, even though I didn't win it. It was very thinky and very strategic. I loved it.
I used to play this on my phone.
Oh, did you? Oh, well, I never did. Anyway, that is Othello. Classic two-player game. It is going to stick around in both collections. There you go. All right.
And lastly,
I was going to say, if you're counting, that was 7. Last but not least.
I'm going to throw up my back.
Probably.
This is On Mars.
Oh my!
Box lid upside
Oh my goodness.
down. Jeez Louise.
Oh no, actually I did close this one. I
Yes,
did
you
put
did.
this away. All right. I am not going to dig this one out of the box, only because
the way it's packed.
Well, it's the way it's packed. It's a very big board. There's lots of sideboards. There's lots of cards and lots of pieces. And yeah, I took a lot of pictures last time we played, so I'll show some pictures. The idea with this one is that you are colonizing Mars. It is like the year 2057 or something. I don't remember what the year was in the rule book, but you're going to look, aren't you? There you go. You look.
You look, you talk.
You look, I talk? Okay.
Something like that.
Anyway, so the idea is
2037.
2037.
So it's just around the corner.
So really not that far in the future.
So apparently we're going to Mars soon.
Apparently. So you have a space station above Mars that has all of your resources and your technologies, and you can get blueprints there. You can pick up blueprints, pick up technologies, pick up various resources and such, and then you take the shuttle down to the planet's surface, and that's when you're actually building out the colonies, or the colony, I should say. The colony starts out with a central mine in it where all of your rovers are technically stored underground, and then each player has their own shelter which hubs their robots, and thus your astronauts when you send them down, or your settlers, settlers, when you send them down. As the game goes on, the shuttle goes back and forth. Throughout the game, the number of times it travels tends to elongate. The length between travel elongates. It'll go out to every other turn. It moves back and forth to every third turn throughout the game. So you have to kind of time when you're going up to get resources and blueprints and such, and when you're going back down to the planet to build and to do other things, to search with your robots or to search with your rovers. So there's a lot of fine balancing involved. That being said, it is entirely possible to win the game by getting a little bit at the very beginning of the game and then hitting Mars and never leaving again. It is a viable strategy.
Which is what Adil did.
That's exactly what Adil did. He never left. Although there at the end, he was running out of people.
Yeah.
He needed to go back up, but the shuttle wasn't going. The shuttle was decommissioned by then.
There's tiles if it's the first time you play.
Yeah.
And those two is their first time ever playing it. So we played with them, and it dictates where you start, whether you're planet side and on what square, because wherever you start, you get a certain thing.
You get a bonus.
You three started in space, and I started planet side, and I ended up using up more resources than I needed to get things out, and then ran out of resources. So I had to go back up. And you guys came back down, and I got stuck up there. I love the game. I just had a really bad game last Sunday.
So yeah, it is very easy to get caught in one place or the other if you're not careful. On the plus side, if you've already been to the planet, and this is what made no sense to me, you build your rockets on the planet, but yet you can only use them to get from space to the planet.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of a disconnect when I realized it during this game.
The fact that you can't
blast
space off from Mars,
to
but
get
you
to the
can
station,
launch from.
So you have the ability on planet to build rocket ships, and you get points for doing so.
And you get people and robots.
You get people and robots are brought to the planet when you use them. When you use them, they are brought.
No, when you build it, when you bring it out to get the executive action now. When you build it and put it in your bay,
sorry, you're right.
that's
when you put it in your
those
bay,
people.
You get more settlers or more astronauts, I can't remember what workers, and potentially one more robot. So which robots are good, because that's what's going around doing all your building and your upgrading. Alternatively, they're their points at the end of the game. 2, they open up executive actions. Lacerda is famous for his executive actions. They're expensive in this game, though, because you have to have crystals to get them. To use them.
That was the other thing.
Crystals.
I ran out of getting crystals.
Right. And yeah, it was hard to get them. one of the only real ways to get them was to
build another hub for your workers, living quarters.
Yes, another living quarters, another encampment, or to complete some of the common goals.
Yes.
You got some. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they were hard to get.
And some of the buildings that come out, they would have gems on the back.
Yes.
But if the angles that they were going was blocked, they never came out.
Once you got a bunch of stuff built up,
yes.
not very many came up.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, if you needed to get from the station to the planet, you could sacrifice one of your rockets and your entire next turn and travel back to the planet. Mm-hmm. If it was going to be too many turns before the shuttle ran, or you were already in season 3 or 4, whatever years 3 or 4, and the shuttle had been decommissioned.
Mm-hmm.
Either way.
Which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah, you ended up having to do the rocket. So I had to fight back
because, yeah.
However, even though you build the rockets on the planet, you can't use the rocket to get from the planet to the spaceship, which, okay, whatever. It's fine. No big deal.
But how'd they get it up there to the space station?
I don't know. Regardless, on the station, you're picking up blueprints, as I said earlier, blueprints, technologies, and resources. Mm-hmm. Those are the primary 3 things you're doing, and then you're upgrading your technologies. You're doing the research to upgrade your technologies. Technologies are doing all sorts of different things, and these are kind of neat. I love the way these work. You upgrade, and the way they work, you block yourself, because you end up with 3 or 4, maybe 5 throughout the game. And each player ends up with those, but you can share technologies. If I really need to move my rover more spaces than the 2 I'm allowed, well, Adil had that ability, and he had it up to a 5. So if I used his, he got an oxygen resource from the bank. At the end of my turn, he could choose to either keep that oxygen or get rid of it and instead upgrade the rover technology for free. Mm-hmm. So it was very easy, if you didn't block yourself, to get your technologies upgraded without having to pay for it on the station. So, and that's what he did. He ended up with some really good technologies right out of the gate, and
yes.
we all
used it, and he just upgraded them. And
yeah. So he made some smart moves. For never having played it before, he made some very smart moves very early on.
He had those which gave him stuff and was able, and he was constantly building his rockets, which gave him more people, and the workers are more actions.
So
because you leave them whatever side of the planet you're on, when you leave to go to the other side, they stay.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're leaving them all behind, but.
Yep. Well.
And then you don't get them until you come back.
You go back, and then you can pick them back up. On planet side, as I said, you can build your rockets, you build out the various technologies, and this has a really neat life cycle where one building produces something, and that something is used to build a different building, and then that produces something, and that's used to build the next kind of building. And it's really neat life cycle.
It's a circle,
that works really well. But you're building out stuff, you are upgrading your buildings, which is basically making them produce if you leave the planet, which, I mean, a couple of us moved around a little bit, but not a lot. Toward the end of the game, you are on planet the whole time, pretty much.
Yeah, because you're trying to build it out.
Yeah.
That's where most of the points are at.
It's a great game. This was actually one of the first Lacerdas we ever bought, and this was, basically, it was a... this and Lisboa were a tax check gift to ourselves before the rest of the money went where it needed to go. This was it. So we've since picked up a few Lacerdas, and we do really like most of his games.
And we have the expansion.
We do. We have not played it yet.
We're going to play that next week?
We have a date to play it in 3 weeks with our sons.
Okay.
Yeah, Justin's going to come over and play it with us.
He loves this game.
Yes.
We just did a Lacerda day at one of the game stores, and... Well, actually, it's a coffee house.
But still, it's a game store. He got to play this one. We played the Gallerist. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, anyway, on Mars, it is sticking around for sure. We very much enjoy it. It is unfortunately one of those we have to almost relearn every time we pull it out because it is such a big and
very
elaborate, very rules-heavy
It's rules-heavy, but it doesn't feel like it once you understand what's going on.
Once you get into it, it becomes intuitive.
Yes.
But it's just figuring out the different icons and what exactly is entailed in each of the actions. But once you get going on it, it's very intuitive.
And this is what, our third time playing it?
Yes, this was our third time
playing it. And the first time
it.
playing it before.
Yes.
Because it was Adil and Nick.
Nick, yeah. All right, anyhow, that is it for this episode. And for the O's.
We're done?
We're done with the O's.
We're done? No more videos?
With the O's. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyhow.
Oh, that's me. Right?
Yes.
You got me all excited when you said we're done. So until then, we'll see you at the next one.